that's the grossest thing I've ever seen in my life, Joe. I can't believe you had sex with a woman on a playground.
Welcome to Something Crunchy, the Valley's #1 comedy entertainment podcast.
Welcome to Something Crunchy. I'm Cullen Blake. With me, as always, Blair and Tyler Dressel. We have another very crunchy guest joining us tonight. You know him from his comedy specials, I Hate Myself, This Year's Material, and Enough for Everybody. He's been featured on Conan, The Late Show with David Letterman, and The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon. He's the co-host of the Tuesdays with Stories podcast alongside Mark Norman, and he'll be in the Valley performing live at Tempe Improv March 13th through the 15th. Please welcome Joe List.
Wow. That was beautiful. I mean, that was touching, and hearing all the things I've done, it almost makes me not depressed. I mean, that was really nice.
It should really tickle the balls. That's what we go for here. That was a mouthful, a quality intro. Thank you for joining us, Joe. How are you, man?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Thanks for giving all the credits. And yeah, this is wonderful.
Yeah, man. How's the tour going?
Good. It's weird. That doesn't feel like a tour. I'm just never not working. All these comics recently, they say, I got my big tour, and they name it and they put a poster. We never used to do that. It used to just be
work.
I'm just working, but I'm bad at promoting. I should name it. I should say the new dad, huge penis tour or whatever.
Right.
Big dad energy.
Yeah.
Hey, that's good.
That is pretty good. Does Sarah join you on tour?
Yes, Sarah, a little bit. So she used to open for me a lot more, but we had a baby like 16 months ago. So It's a little tricky with the baby.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So last night we had a babysitter. We did a show in New Jersey. We did 2 shows in New Jersey together. So we worked together. And then we go to Key West. My friend has a comedy club in Key West called Comedy Key West. And when we go there, we work together because it's kind of fun and romantic. We ride bikes to she rides her bike to the show, does a set, and then they put a comedian on in between us. She rides back, hands me the bike, and then I go and do my set.
Wow.
That's so fun.
Yeah.
So
a well-oiled machine.
Yeah, it's beautiful, but it's a little trickier now in other places. If we do Seattle, Tacoma, we have family there, or Boston. So there's a few cities we still work together, but other than that, she has to stay home with the baby.
This young one, is it your first child?
First and only child.
First
yes.
and only child. Well, congratulations again. And we navigate in some common waters in that you also have a boners and butthole style podcast. And we put out content that we maybe wouldn't want our families to see on their feed. But we do have families, and there's kids who have teachers and friends who have parents.
Yes.
How do you and Sarah manage your parental image after an hour-long episode talking about the varying textures of man jizz with Norman and the other comedians?
I have to tell you, it's the thing I'm most anxious about having a baby, because, we go to playground. We were at the playground today. There's like an indoor playground here near our neighborhood, and you meet parents, and they always have questions, especially because Sarah and I are one of the few sets of parents where both of us are with the kid during the day. So everyone goes, what do you guys do? What is this? Why aren't you working, you bums? And we say we're comedians. And then as soon as we say it, I just start cringing, because if they do any amount of research, it's just going to be me talking about, would you eat your father's jizz for $100? And, I'm horrified. And then if I want to coach someday, if I want to be a little league coach, they're going to be like, didn't you say you want to, whatever, blow your cousin, whatever it is. I don't even know. So it's a little nerve-wracking. And speaking of things, you know what you're feeling here. Sometimes we have Mark and I have Tuesdays with Stories, our podcast. Everyone check it out. Mm-hmm. And we do a Patreon, which is like behind a $5 paywall. So we get extra dicey on there. And then we have like a new social media company. They've done clips, and they don't run them by us. So all of a sudden, my Instagram, I'll be scrolling, and it's me being like, I bet my dad's got a bigger dick than my mother's dildo. And I'm like, what are you, crazy? I'm like, my parents are on here. I'm like, that was for us. That was on Patreon. That was behind a paywall. You can't just isolate that.
Can't leak the goods. And like, what are you doing? So how do your parents react? How do friends or family react?
My parents and family, they come to the shows, the stand-up comedy shows, I'm petrified that they listen to the podcast. I hope they don't. Every once in a while, my dad will have like a Tuesdays with Stories shirt or something, and I'm hoping he's just supporting. But the podcast, I'm like, because we like shit on them on there. Like, stand-up comedy is different. It's like you do the show, whatever, and I talk about sex, and I always have, because that's the thing with stand-up. You only have the jokes you have. So when people are like, "Do you change your act when your mother's in the audience?" I'm like, I don't have any other jokes.
This is what I prefer.
Like, there's nothing to change it. Yeah, it's like there's nothing to change it to. I'd have to do someone else's act.
Currently, we have a 4-year-old and an 8-year-old, and I'm dealing with like dance moms that are like now wondering, what's going on. We hear you have a podcast, and I'm like, oh, definitely. And they're like, I can't wait to listen. And then you hear that like they started it, and they're like, oh, we're 5 episodes deep. We actually started it from the beginning, and we're like, oh my god,
Oh, no.
God.
Oh god.
Oh,
Episode 1?
At least start from most
no.
recent.
Work your way back.
Yeah.
What are you doing? No, it was hilarious. But yeah, I kind of like get the same anxiety of just like, okay, well, here we are.
Going back to the beginning is really scary because that's when we didn't think anyone would ever hear anything.
Mm-hmm.
So we were like really bad.
Yeah.
Like, we had like 12 listeners. So we were like,
Yeah.
oh, we'll just say anything. So it's definitely, it's unsettling.
They were like, oh,
Particularly in New York City, which,
Oh.
New York City, there's a high volume of quite woke people.
That's right.
So,
You're not going to run for office anytime soon, are you?
no, I would. You know what? It's funny. I would. Sometimes I have moments where I'm like, I think I could do it, and I'm like, no.
Well,
There's so much
Yeah.
recorded out there.
yeah, now there's just too much
Yeah.
content out there, and we are in the same boat, especially when it comes to content, and we strive for the tastefully inappropriate, but that's objective, I suppose. Speaking of tastefully inappropriate content, we heard you guys talking about the credit carding trend, friends swiping each other's asses. You notice how there's always the friend who takes these games too far? Tyler calls it playing gay chicken.
Yep.
Sure.
I think I've coined that, and nobody else has heard that before.
Have you heard that before, Joe? Gay chicken?
I have not, but I like it, and it sounds like a band name or like an album. We're going to see Gay Chicken Wednesday night.
That's
They're
right.
playing the
a couple
they're
bangers.
playing CBGB or what? I don't know.
Have you
I
heard
went
the
to
new
club that's been gone for
podcast,
40
Gay
years.
Chicken?
Gay Chicken is big. I've never heard that. I like it.
It is big.
You just try to push your buddies past their comfort zone doing extra gay things until they break.
Yeah, no, I remember one time when I was in my 20s, somebody was like, I wasn't there. It was like a hang where someone fell asleep, and they were like, "Yeah, we colored his dick red with like a marker," and I was
my
like,
God.
"But you touched his dick?" What? I was like, "That's weird. Like that feels like somebody pranked you. Like, hey, hold on to his dick."
You had
while
to grip it
There's a
in
lot
different
of-
angles.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
I'm like,
that's a low
oh.
quality prank. You've been known to be the wild card sometimes in your more wild days. I heard your signature move was shitting in people's shoes when you got hammered. How did this begin? Who was your favorite target?
No. I mean, I have done that. It was only once, and it was an accident.
Oh, I see. Only once. Okay.
Yeah, we all have our moments. Yeah, no, it was bad. It was ugly. I was a young man, 29, and it was like a first time hanging out. It was a woman too. It was like a first time hanging out with this woman and her roommate, and I was trying to make moves, and I made a movement. All right.
Wait, so
I
this
don't
is a
remember
woman you were
doing it.
hitting on.
Honestly, it's kind of a power move if you think about it.
Yeah,
You're
so
like,
I was the
God
dominant.
bless. He's got some balls over here. Like,
Yeah. So what happened was I knew this girl from the comedy club. She worked at Caroline's Comedy Club. She was like the door girl or whatever you call it. Not like security, but the answered phones, I guess. And we kind of had a somewhat of a flirtatious thing. And I was like, oh, let's all go hang. Like, come hang. All the comics are going here. And it wasn't a date, but it was like, we're all going to hang. And we had this kind of relationship. So I was like, let her see me amongst my buddies. And I just drank too much, too hard, never ate. And long story short, I woke up in her roommate's bed. and and then I went to the bathroom and peed, and I was like, I think something that was crazy last night. And then I went in the living room, and the table had been like Chris Farley, like it was smashed.
Oh,
And
no.
I don't know if you've ever had this where you wake up hungover and you look at something, and you're like, I think that was me.
Oh, yeah.
That feels like I did that.
Unfortunately.
Why do I feel guilty about
Yeah.
that situation
It's
right
all
now?
kind of coming back to me now that I look at it.
Yeah. And then I went back into the bedroom, and there was a big urine stain and a sneaker, a high top sneaker with a long poo sticking out of the top of it.
A long one.
Yeah, and I had traipsed some of it around. Like it wasn't all in the sneaker. I had walked through. It was very bad. And the funniest part was I texted these women. I was like, oh my God, I'm a piece of shit. I'm sorry. I'm going to kill myself. And they wrote, hey, no, like it was wild, but it wasn't that crazy. Don't sweat it. And I was like, man, these girls.
These girls party.
I was like, God damn, these are some fucking wild girls. And then I happened to be flying to Seattle that morning, which is crazy. I flew across the country on like airplane mode. Back then there was no Wi-Fi in the plane. And when I landed and took my phone off airplane mode, the first text I got was like, oh my God, we had no idea how bad this was. You're a piece of shit. And I just thought, that's more like it.
There it is. There
I
it
was
is.
waiting for
The
that.
late fuse.
Worried for a second.
That makes sense.
Did you end
Luckily,
up hooking up with this girl? Was there?
How'd she
Did you
think?
guess have a thing?
Yeah.
No.
The ship sailed.
No, that was, no, I didn't, but I got to tell you, we had a nice, pleasant exchange. I apologized. I sent them some money, and we I think I could have maybe, I was always had such low self-esteem. I was so insecure that I never felt like I could hook up with anybody. And we had quite a nice, pleasant exchange after that maybe I could have, and just, they were young. They were like 21 years old, fortunately.
Yeah.
If they were 40, I would have been shot.
Yeah, it's more mortified. I could totally relate with the insecurity. And I'd like to highlight another embarrassing flaw we share, actually, OCD. The compulsive tics,
Yes.
even like blinking. I've always had various tics like this from OCD
nice.
as well. Did you grow up with these and have it early?
I don't know. The tics, not so much. That came kind of later, maybe right after high school, I think. But I definitely struggled with anxiety, and I don't know. It's hard to remember as a kid. I think, like in high school, I did well. I ran. I was a cross country, winter track, spring track. I just ran like 5, 6, 7 miles a day. So I
Damn.
felt like I was really had a much more even keel then. And I think when I graduated high school, I was doing stand-up. I didn't go to college. I was kind of rudderless doing open mics. And I think that's when my whole brain was like, you're going to die, you piece of shit. What are you doing?
You stop moving. What are
And
you
then
doing?
Yeah.
So
you
anxiety
blew it.
kind of fed that, sounds like.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And so I still deal with it a bit. And it's like, you do feel embarrassed. Like when someone will look away in a conversation, I'm like, I just start ticking.
It's weird, and it's a curse and a blessing, mostly a curse. I don't know why I felt the need to bring that up. I'm getting all blinky just thinking about it.
No, I appreciate it. It's good. It's good. There's other psychopaths out there. That we
yes,
can-
there's a few of us.
Guilty as well over here.
A little bit. I understand you and Sarah are big movie buffs. We just had the Oscars last night. I missed the physicality that we used to see at the Oscars. They really should integrate more violence into the program. Just bring up the nominees for the year's most slappable performance, and the winner takes an open-hander from the previous year's winner.
So we had a show booked for Valentine's Day. I got the flu, so we had to reschedule, and I was still had flu-like symptoms when we rescheduled, and he was like, how about Sunday, March 2nd? And I was like, perfect, just stop bothering me. I'm going to die. And then I didn't realize it was Oscar Sunday. So we streamed it in the back of the club, or not the back of the club, but in the green room,
Yeah.
I should say. It'd be funny if it was just streaming in the showroom.
In the show.
So we watched a little bit of it, but I have to tell you, because of the baby, I've watched so fewer movies than I'm used to watching. So I didn't see many of the movies, but I did
hadn't
see
seen a lot
Anora,
of
which
them
one.
either. Okay, so I didn't see that. Was that good? Was that worth all the hype? I won Best Director, Best Picture, the actress.
I got to tell you, I didn't love it. Sarah and I, we did not love it. I really like Sean Baker. I like that guy that made the movie. I don't know if any of you guys saw it. The first like half hour, I was enjoying the hell out of it. You know, it's this sex worker who meets this rich Russian guy, and they're running all over the place, falling in love. And then it just came apart to it. There's like a 30-minute scene where like they're yelling at her and vice versa. And it just went on so long. We felt like it was like torture.
Yeah, I can't stand it when you do that.
Yeah, I just didn't love it. It reminded me of like in movies when phones won't stop ringing or smoke alarms are going off. Like I'm just like, please stop this noise.
Like, no one wants to hear this right now.
You're giving anxiety to the viewer, and
you can do
for
it
no
quickly.
reason.
Manufactured.
We get the gist, and then end it.
Yes.
Oh, it's a nightmare
So
when you have kids too, and you're watching things. You're like, for the love of God, turn that fucking thing off.
Oh yeah. You got the volume at like 4, and I'm like, we watch a lot of stuff with subtitles on now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
We've
Always.
learned to love that over here for
Always.
sure.
Big fan.
That's
Keep the
movie.
babies asleep. Just read it.
Have you seen anything that you did like, any shows or movies?
I watched Conclave. I liked Conclave.
I heard that was good.
I loved it up until the end. It got a little heavy-handed, I thought, in the end, but it's like a beautiful movie. The photography is amazing, and the performances are great. And I
Good
was
cast.
quite thrilled by it. Yeah, so I thought that was really good. I'm like trying to think of what else I saw. We went and saw Baby Girl. We had a date night with Nicole Kidman getting fingered and masturbating.
Oh, nice.
That was fun.
Very
Did you
good.
guys see it?
I
No.
didn't, but I heard the headline. Like I heard
Sounds like a good
afterwards,
time.
it leaked she was like really getting off during those scenes, or had uncontrollable orgasms. It was something to that effect. That I remember.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. I mean, I thought the movie was pretty good, but there's a phenomenon where movies, it's so much of it is setting and feeling. Like my wife and I had a babysitter, and so we walked. There's a theater like up the street from us, so we walked there, and we had the night off, and the baby was asleep, so I got candy and popcorn, and I was like, "This is the best movie I've ever seen." Like I don't know if you ever had that, where it's just like.
Yeah.
You're just happy to be out. And
Yeah.
so I was like, this is great. And, there's an old lady naked getting finger fucked. So I was like, this is flawless. Yeah. So, and then
Top shelf.
everyone I've talked to is like, this movie blows. You're an idiot. And I was like, shit, maybe it stinks.
Is that like
But
watching a movie?
I enjoyed it.
Do you get the same feeling from watching a movie on an airplane? Because you're just isolated and locked in, and it's always the best movie. They always make me cry.
You get super
Yeah.
into it because you have no other option.
Yeah.
Get into it.
Well, there's like a phenomenon I think about. You have more emotion on a plane or something. That's what somebody was telling me. Maybe it was
Really?
Sarah was saying that. That's what I heard, but I don't
mean,
know
it feels
any
like
of
it would
the.
make sense.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
I think the oxygen or something.
Yeah, that might be it. Well, I know you're a big sports guy, and I've heard you say that Catching Hell was the best 30 for 30. I want to get into why you're wrong here, but this tells me you're a baseball guy. Are you familiar with the popular 90s film A League of Their Own?
I love A League of Their Own. Oh yeah, my wife and I watched it the first day we. You guys hate it?
No, I was
No.
hoping you'd say this. I have an ongoing debate with these pair of dumb shits
we
about the
need
ending
you.
of that movie on whether or not Dottie dropped the ball in the championship game on purpose. Do you care to weigh in here?
That's a classic dialogue. I don't know. I could be swayed either way. I mean, I think that she doesn't. Personally, I think she just got the better of her there, but then she treats her in a way that maybe she did. I don't know. You guys tell me, and then I'll pick which one person I like better.
I like that you're on the fence and that your vote can be bought. Like, I like how you're putting
I
that out
need to
here.
know
Like,
Sarah.
for the
I
right
need you to
price.
ask
I can.
Sarah, if she knows it like you, like I need to know I need to know
No,
the answer.
don't sway. Joe, you and I are in complete agreement that she would never do that on purpose for a kid. She wouldn't do that to the Peaches. She wouldn't disgrace the game and her team that way. We even had one of the Peaches come on here. Marla Hooch sat him down and told him that she didn't do it on purpose.
But we did a poll and the people have spoken. Okay?
Social media agrees with you, but
Context
come
clues
on.
are there for a reason.
She did it on purpose.
Yeah,
She loves her sister.
Yep.
It's clear.
She only played one season. Kit
She
got to play
wanted
like
it
10
for
more.
her.
She got a career out of it.
Listen to them try to sell you, Joe. It's
Like she just
Sad.
like,
Yeah,
oh,
no,
I
she's
couldn't
a-
hold on to it. She was an all-star, okay? Donnie Hinson's just gonna drop the fucking ball.
exactly.
No.
They even say it in the beginning of the movie, bro. Take care of the younger ones. It's part of the whole thing.
But it doesn't matter. All that matters is the speech that Hank's. I mean, you know what's funny? I always feel bad. I always feel sad and bad about this because Sarah loves the movie too. And it's a movie about a women's baseball league. But by far, the best character in the film is Jimmy Dugan.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because he has the most range as a character. Like it's like this female empowering movie, and it's made by a woman, and it's about women, and and then Tom Hanks just steals the show as this great. And these good girls help him see it all the way through. Is so beautiful, and then. It's supposed to be hard. If it wasn't hard, everyone would do it. Is like one of the great lines in the history
sure
of
is.
cinema. Yeah. And avoid the clap, Jimmy Dugan. That's good advice.
Yeah.
There's
So true.
pages of great quotes on this one.
Well, when you do look at it through the misogynistic filter, it really is the Tom Hanks show, and with just the backdrop of women's baseball. I don't know why I didn't think of it that way. It's really true.
Yeah.
You
No,
know,
it should
this
be called
is
the Jimmy
exactly what
Dugan
Penny
story.
wanted.
The Jimmy Dugan story. The clap in the peaches,
No, he's-
starring Jimmy Dugan.
He's amazing. It's a beautiful film. And we watched the first day we brought our son home. We watched that movie, and it makes me emotional. And I bought my wife a shirt that says "Lay off the high ones."
Wow.
I like the high ones.
I probably say that
So,
I
yeah.
like try not to say that literally every day, but there's a
Yeah.
time where certain quotes just hit too much, and that's one of them.
That's true. That's a good transitional point. Let's get extremely personal. Move on to our Fast Five, where we give you 5 hard-hitting questions. You just try to answer as quickly as you can.
Sure, I can't wait.
Favorite movie to quote?
Goodfellas.
Goodfellas.
Oh, it's so
Good.
great.
Yeah,
It's
it's
so
my favorite
high on our
movie.
list.
I could spend the
It's
rest
my
of our
favorite-
time quoting Goodfellas.
Just those 100s.
Yeah, my favorite movie ever.
Good answer.
You can't even watch that with other people.
Strong.
It is one of those.
Strong
Likely to
start.
give their own. Yeah, strong start. All right. You're being sold as an action figure. Which 2 accessories do you come with?
Oh boy, double-sided dildo
Nice.
and no, I don't know.
As a sword, cool.
Probably a Chipotle gift card and a Starbucks cup.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah,
That works.
that's a dunk. That's
That's a
final
dunk.
answer. Both those.
Pixar comes calling, wants you to voice a character in their new banger. Which animal suits you best?
Oh boy, maybe a hummingbird. I like a hummingbird.
Ooh.
Wow, what a great
I'm a little.
answer.
I jump all over the place. I like to eat. I'm beautiful. I'm a beautiful man. People are excited to see me.
Beautiful, man.
Everybody's
It
like,
makes
"Whoa,
perfect
look,
sense. Everyone's excited to see you when you're there.
it's Joe List. Wow.
No one's ever said bird and hummingbird. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I basically just blanked and named my favorite, coolest animal
That works.
because I'm trying to get over my bad self-esteem.
Well, who doesn't
you
love a
should.
hummingbird? You're a beautiful hummingbird,
You
Joe.
are.
Thank you very much.
Flap those wings, buddy.
Least favorite sexual position?
Least favorite, boy, the bottom, doggy style.
The
No, I don't know. I don't know. It's tough. I love them all. I don't think I've experienced a sexual position I don't like. But my wife and I, we're pretty meat and potatoes. We're usually missionary doggy style.
You're
or,
pretty meat and
what do you-
potatoes. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
standard issue.
You got your classic favorites.
Yeah, see, I'm 6'5" and the shorter between Tyler and I. So missionary, that's a hard position for us.
Yeah.
The logistics don't really work in our favor.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have I'm just a man who is very grateful for any sexual position.
I'll take it.
The league minimum is still awesome.
It's still
Right.
league minimum. All right, let's finish on largest wild animal you think you could take down.
Oh boy. Largest wild animal I could take down. Maybe a deer? I bet I could fuck up a deer if I had to.
Barehanded?
Like,
Not a buck,
How
but
fast
like
are
a.
you? Actually, you are a track star, so
I don't know if you could like chase down a deer in the woods, but like if you
Gotta be
were
quick.
Yeah, that would be.
in a
That
confined
would be
area,
tricky.
Cage fight?
cage fight,
okay.
Yeah.
I think Joe could take a deer.
Yeah, I think so. Again, it'd have to be a female deer. I'm really beating up women in this section.
It's cool.
I think I could-
Holy.
No, it's cool if it's an animal.
Yeah, I think I could like get it in the
It's
side headlock. Right. I think I could get a deer down.
It's a good T-shirt idea. Cool if it's an animal.
It's cool if it's an animal.
Absolutely.
I just feel Peanut like dying right
The
now.
AFC.
Yeah,
No.
I'm not satisfied by you not giving an answer on least favorite sexual position, so I'm going to replace that with all-time favorite sports moment.
All-time favorite sports moment. Boy, I mean, I gotta go the 2004 Red Sox winning the World Series just because it meant so much to me. It really brings me joy to think about. I cried. But there have been so many greats. I mean, I'm in New England there, so there's been so many great ones.
Yeah,
The
Boston.
Bruins.
Ugh. For
Yeah.
you have too
The
many
Bruins.
options.
I know. Well,
Great
but as a child, when I needed it, they all sucked. It was heartbreaking. So yes, I have a lot of championships as an adult, a grown man. But as a boy, it was devastating.
See, well, we have the opposite because we're cowboys. So we grew up with like, oh, we're great. This is so fantastic. And now we're adults and they just fucking suck. And it's
They haven't been
awful.
good for so
And we
long.
just have to support them through all of it. And it's
Next year, it's
tough.
your year. I'm telling you.
So, I mean, I don't know which one is better.
Yeah.
Be recently good. It's better that they're making documentaries about you from like the last 20
y'all
years,
are
like they did the Red Sox.
greatness
I just
over there.
rewatched that documentary about that win in 04, and that was awesome. It really did mean a lot to a lot of people, and it broke the curse. Like that was just
Yeah,
good,
that's a big
good story for
deal.
sports.
Pretty special.
No, and it was amazing. And then we had lost the year before, and we're down 3-0, and then won 7 games in a row. It was crazy. But I'm also a big hockey guy. And then 2013, the Bruins were down 4-1 to Toronto in Game 7, and they won that game. So that was
That's fun.
pretty unbelievable.
Yeah.
That was crazy. So that was pretty awesome too. But Patriots comebacks, and there's been a lot. I'm blessed.
See, that's when you have an abundance of championships like you did with your Patriots. You don't even appreciate them. It's the Red Sox
I
that
just
you
have too
remember.
many-
That's the one that
yeah.
brings you to tears. Tom Brady winning the Super Bowl. It's like, what else
Oh,
is
boy.
new?
Yeah.
No, the last Super Bowl the Patriots won was against the Rams, and it was like 13-3. And I remember just being like this, oh,
Wow.
boring.
Sick of this.
Such a boring championship.
Now it was starting to get that way with the Chiefs. Like if the Chiefs won, I was
Agree.
going to
Move
start getting
on.
kind of sick of them too.
The country turns on you fast. I mean,
Really
I always
do.
thought that in 2001, the Patriots, everybody it was right after 9/11, and the Rams had already won, and the Patriots were 14-point underdogs, and it just felt like it was America's team. No offense to Dallas, but like, it was 9/11. It was 9/11, and we were the Patriots and
Right.
underdogs. So it just
Yeah,
felt-
you
and
can't
then
beat
like
that.
2 years later, they were back in the Super Bowl. And people were like, "Fuck the Patriots!"
These fucking
I hate
guys.
Tom Brady." And the same with the Red Sox. They were like the lovable loser, and then now they've won 4. And
Yeah.
Because
9
now you got
years.
your
Now we're
win.
sick of
It's
it. You got the
like,
win.
yeah,
You broke the curse, and now
We get it.
Get out of here.
yeah,
we
I'm
get
over it.
right.
Well, we normally play a quick game to end every episode and include our guest. I think we should do up something a little different tonight and pay homage to Gene Hackman by having a fierce debate over his top 3 greatest performances. Let's Joe list our favorite Gene flicks. Show your work.
Yes.
First of all, before we get into it, they confirmed this was not carbon monoxide. They all tested negative
Yes.
for that. Even the dog
Confirmed?
confirmed.
Okay.
So before we even get into a debate about the movies, I want a small debate
My
over
heart is
what
still
happened to
broken
Gene.
over this in the first place, but it is now like very strange how all this happened.
Joe, what happened to Gene?
Well, it's a little mysterious, but I did hear, and I haven't been reading too much, but I did hear that he had a pacemaker, and the last activity was like February 17th.
Correct.
So
That's
he
what I
had been
heard too.
dead for so he had been dead for about 10 days or something like that.
Yeah, they said that they
And
were,
then there was
they were turning.
he had been dead for a while, and then the wife had pills next to her. The dog being dead makes it seem extra spooky, but it feels like maybe they both had been dead for a week and the dog starved, as horrible as that is. So maybe my friend had a theory. I'm stealing my friend Ronan Hirschberg, great comedian, great guy. His theory was that the wife killed herself and Gene was going to get help and fell, or vice versa. He fell and died, and she was like, I can't live without my 90-year-old husband, which you think should be like, I'm inheriting a bunch of money. She's only 62.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was thinking.
Short
I was
answer,
like, when you hear the wife, that's exactly what you think. Is just like, okay, it's like I can't live without you. And then the dog, it questions
With
everything.
the dog.
So what I think
But the-
happened is that the wife took pills and overdosed on purpose after Gene passed, didn't know what to do,
The
with the
dog ate
body,
the
and then the
pills.
dog got into the pills as well.
Oh, that's not bad.
We
This
need
is
we need a
fun.
toxicology report on the dog.
Yeah. And we got that theory from our veterinarian friend, and it seems to
Uh-huh.
hold up.
That does hold water.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Interesting.
But anyways, I mean, I love Gene Hackman, and best performances and stuff. But I just the other night was watching The French Connection for the 50th time.
Yeah.
I love that movie, so I got to have it in there. And Royal Tenenbaums is one of my favorite movies ever, and he's so pitch perfect in that movie.
For sure.
I just love him in that movie, and but I'm gonna live. I mean, he's just amazing in that.
Yeah.
And then I also love Hoosiers. I'm a sucker for Hoosiers, so I guess those would be my three.
Many would agree.
But I might be
with that
forgetting.
list.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's going to be hard to argue with those, especially Hoosiers. I think that's one that's just unanimously loved, and he did so well. French Connection, most people would say that too. That's like your classic Gene. I like my Gene a little bit more the firm style. Like I like him in a law setting. I like a suit and tie kind of Gene.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
I don't know that would crack my top three. Yeah, he was good in like Enemy of the State and Extreme Measures, those kinds of movies. But Blair and I are a little partial to Bonnie and Clyde because
way partial.
Sure.
that was his first movie, and like the Texas History. The Quick and the Dead, even though most would say Unforgiven was a better movie, and it may be, his performance was better in The Quick and the
It
Dead.
was great.
And it's not Gene's best movies, it's his
No.
best performances.
For sure.
So
Right.
I think Bonnie and Clyde, The Quick and the Dead, and I will say Hoosiers.
Oh.
Biscuit, what do you think?
I got Superman, all of them that he
Lex
was in. He's the
Luthor.
best Lex Luthor of all time. Hoosiers and Replacements tied for 2. I think both of those are.
Shane Falco made your list?
The Replacements was even on the board.
I need heart. He needs heart. And then Quick and the Dead.
I don't know.
I think you just named 8 movies.
I did, but all the Supermen, like just anything.
Well, there
Lex
was
Luthor.
he was Lex Luthor twice.
3 and
Right.
4.
I thought it was just 1 and 2.
Mm.
He was in more than 2.
Let's fact check that because I don't think Pryor showed up till 3. Right? He was in that one.
Interesting. Well, he was definitely good at Lex.
He
Luthor.
was great.
Arguably the best.
Yeah.
Lex Luthor. Blair, what do you think? The Birdcage. Go ahead.
Oh, you know what? Why did I immediately think of that too? I'm like, when I think of my Gene, my absolute favorite pair of jeans would be Bonnie and Clyde. And I mean, now that you do mention it, Quick and the Dead, but Birdcage is like, I thought he was great in Birdcage.
Yeah.
It wasn't like best performance.
It was a great movie.
Nobody
Was it
can play Gene
his
Hackman's
best
role.
I feel like we got to give a shout out to Crimson Tide, classic.
Oh, I forgot all about
Classic
Crimson
90s.
Yeah.
Ah, it's so good.
That is a good movie. Man, I forgot
There's
all
so
about
many that we're
Crimson Tide.
missing.
Yeah,
too.
I need to
I
pull
know
up
that people are like going to be
IMDb.
upset
They're-
hearing this. Like,
we're
you
forgetting
didn't
a
even
couple key
bring up
ones.
like
Yeah.
X, Y, Z.
The Replacements, though, that's still kind of bothering me. Shane Falco.
Anything with him as a coach, like he's the best coach ever.
He has like
Great
the best like
coach.
That's a
power
bold
position.
statement.
He's a leader. He has a strong voice. He does it well. He's done it so many times.
Denzel Washington in Remember the Titans was a better coach than Gene Hackman in The Replacements.
Okay, that is true. But why are you can't even those are apples and oranges. Okay?
Denzel didn't have heart.
Joe, who would you rather be your coach, Denzel or Gene?
I'm taking Gene all the way, but my favorite all-time coach it might be the actor that played Lou Brown in Major League.
Oh,
yeah.
Good.
Transistor radio.
I mean,
Oh, just to bring in best coaches. Oh, that's such a great one.
Talk about most quoted. Like that's the guy I quote most often.
I love this British shit. Dorn.
Best voice.
Yeah, he was great. That's a good one.
I mean, getting offered a Major League offer and saying, I don't know, I got a guy on the other line about some white walls. I'll call you later. I mean, it's just peak comedy. In my opinion, he doesn't want to manage in the big leagues.
Major League
It's
was
just
good.
too good.
Tyler loves Major League.
I do. It's my top 5 favorite
That's
comedies.
awesome.
Love it.
It's underrated.
Well, we did have to pay some homage to the Hackman. It's a weird story. I know there's going to be a documentary about this one day, but while it's still fresh, we needed to at least bring him up. Joe, appreciate it, man. You are a blast.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. Looking forward to seeing you at the show and having you in town. Be sure to follow Joe on X and IG at Joe List Comedy. Check out the Tuesdays with Stories podcast. He also has a movie out called 4th of July with Louis C.K. available on Amazon. Come see Joe live at Tempe Improv March 13th through the 15th. Tickets are available at tempeimprov.com or comedianjoelist.com. Joe, really appreciate the time.
Absolutely. I appreciate you guys. This was fun as hell. As you
so
promised.
much,
So thank you.
Joe.
Thank you.
Thanks, Joe. Appreciate you guys. Thanks so much.
Yeah,
Thanks,
can't
Joe.
wait to
Talk
see
soon.
you.
It was the nastiest thing I ever heard, Joe Liz. Joe, that was fun. I felt bad not having the game set up for him, but we needed to do something Hackman.
Yeah.
I'm upset with the whole Gene thing. It's like
It's unsettling.
he was in his mid-90s, so like it was
It would make sense.
It
Like
was
he's
kinda
95.
coming,
Let him.
but the
like,
whole thing with the wife and the dog, and they've been there for
Give
10
him some
days.
dignity. Like he should have
it's
just
becoming
gone
a
out with some
story.
grace.
We
Like,
should have
poor
just
Gene.
remembered him for
Why are we
being
even
awesome.
talking about the way that it happened? Like
Yeah.
I hate that.
It's weird. Sucks. You know, I think it was the first time this season that we brought up our League of Their Own debate. He agreed with me.
He was on the fence. I
His-
feel like you came in hot thinking he like totally agreed with you, and
He
I feel like
wanted to agree with us. Bro.
He totally agreed with me. He was like,
He,
no,
like,
I could
kind
be
of
sold
agreed
on
with
another
you.
way, but I think that, no.
no,
of
you were
course
like, I'm
do
so
it."
glad that you totally agree 100% that it's exactly.
Did I do
He was
that?
like, I
You
kinda feel
stopped
that-
probing after you got anything your way.
Yeah.
And you're like, no, that's all I needed to hear. He agrees with me.
He
I
did.
won the debate. It's over.
Play it back.
Run it back.
Run it back.
Toodaloo, toodaloo.
He agreed. If you're not following us on TikTok at Something Crunchy, what's the matter with you? Get involved and find us on Facebook as well. Definitely the highest grade memes in the city. See those red hairs?
I see those.
Don't forget to check out somethingcrunchy.com, where you'll find every episode, our links to social media, and the Almighty Crunch Store, where you'll find all kinds of crunchy gear showing that you are a proud citizen of Crunch Nation.
Please don't forget to subscribe, like, follow, and all that crunchy good shit. All episodes can be found at somethingcrunchy.com and on all podcast platforms. Thank you for listening.
We're gonna have ourselves a time, boy!
We surely are.
Woo!
What are we gonna do?